I'm Audrey Barnes. Laurel's Main Street Festival. The name alone conjures up great memories of food, fun, and entertainment. This is the 36th year for this iconic event, and it promises to be bigger and better than ever. So sit back and let us be your tour guide for the festival on May 7th, 2016. We'll give you the inside scoop on the best way to enjoy all the festivities. But before we get to all of that, let's take a quick stroll down memory lane with Richard Friend of Lost Laurel. He's compiled a little history of Laurel's flagship event over the last 3 decades.
If you've ever been to Laurel, Maryland, chances are you've made more than a few trips up and down Main Street. It's in the heart of the city's historic district, and it's been here for as long as there's been a Laurel, Maryland. But if you're like me and you grew up here in the 1980s, or if you spent a significant amount of time here in the 3 decades since, the very mention of Main Street brings to mind one particular thing: the Main Street Festival. The first ever Main Street Festival took place on May 16, 1981, and was inspired in part by the city's long overdue upgrade of Main Street itself. Throughout the 60s and 70s, the surface quality of the street had become notoriously bad, prompting city officials to focus on making a complete overhaul their top priority. Everything from the asphalt itself to the sidewalks, the lampposts, even the trash cans, took on a brand new appearance over the course of 1980 and into early 1981. While everyone agreed it was a much-needed improvement, businesses suffered during construction, with the constant roadwork proving to be a stressful inconvenience for merchants, some of whom reported losses of 25% or more over the 9-month construction period. In January 1981, just 4 months before the first Main Street Festival was scheduled to take place, organizers were faced with the possibility that they'd actually have to cancel the event. Of the 130 business owners contacted about participating, only 9 showed up to a critical planning meeting. Worried about the possibility of losing even more business, a problem exacerbated when WSSC ended up digging a massive hole in the brand new street in late February, merchants were concerned that closing Main Street for the festival might do more harm than good. But business owners like Carlo Petrucci and Bob Cook sold their fellow merchants on the idea that pedestrian traffic and a sidewalk booth would only draw customers to their stores, and support for the May event was back on track. Mayor Bob DiPietro cut the ribbon, and the very first Main Street Festival proved to be a bigger success than anyone imagined. A parade, live music, food, exhibitors, arts and crafts, and other events brought out and sustained the crowds. At least 10,000 were estimated to have attended, and that seems to have been a modest guess. Within days, previously skeptical merchants and residents alike were asking the same question: can we do it again next year? And just like that, a Laurel tradition was made. Every year since 1981, Laurel has held its Main Street Festival on the Saturday before Mother's Day, and it's only gotten bigger. As it's grown over the years, there's a familiarity that never goes away, in spite of the businesses that have changed over time. You remember the faces in the parades, and the bands that kept you moving. The sights, sounds, and smells instantly take you back to the beginning, when you could stop into Knapp's newsstand for a quick respite from the heat, or Pal Jack's for one of the best tasting pizzas of all time. It all started in 1981 with the celebration of a repaved and rejuvenated Main Street. It was so much fun, Laurel's done it every year since. Some folks haven't missed a Main Street Festival since the very first one. Others are just now discovering this classic Laurel tradition, which routinely draws crowds of up to 100,000 people from all over the DC, Maryland, and Virginia region, and beyond. If Laurel had an annual family reunion, it would be the Main Street Festival. You'll see familiar faces, enjoy great food, and make new memories while reminiscing along this legendary street. You might even find yourself riding in the parade one day. I'm Richard Friend, and I'll see you this year at the Main Street Festival.
Joining me now from the Laurel Board of Trade are Marvin Rogers, Chairman, and Maureen Rogers, the administrative coordinator. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
That Richard Friend piece on the history of the Laurel Main Street Festival really kind of highlighted what's been so great for the last 36 years. How important is this event for Laurel?
Well, it really puts Laurel on the map. I mean, we're bringing not only people from all over the state, but also vendors from as far south as Florida, as far north as New York area, New Jersey, as well as Ohio. So it really brings a lot of different people together for the day. So we're excited about our 36th year.
And it's all about food, fun, and entertainment, correct?
Absolutely.
So tell me the layout. Is it all down Main Street?
Yeah, it stretches from Route 216 all the way up to Route 1. And we have vendors on both sides of Main Street, and lots of people.
Lots of people. What kind of crowd are we expecting this year?
We're hoping, if it's nice clear weather, upwards of 100,000 people.
All right, well, that's a big, big event. And I know that vendors are very important because people come back year after year looking for their favorite ones, right?
They absolutely do. And the vendors always ask for the places they had the previous year, and those people will look out for them, whether it be a crafter or a food vendor.
Tell me, make my mouth water. What are some of the good food vendors that you have every year?
We have crab cakes, we have lamb, gyros, popcorn, funnel cakes, ice cream. It just never stops. There's so much good stuff out there.
And some crafty stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, the crafts. I look forward to talking to them each year because they have such good things that they're bringing, and they'll send me samples or send me a picture of it. So I'm always interested myself in getting out to see the crafters.
Now the food vendors have some health important information that they need to know about, right?
They need to get their health permit license for that day by Monday at 3 p.m.
This is Monday before the May 7th
Right.
festival. So is there any advice you would have? Because you both have we know you've been coming to the Laurel Main Street Festival for 30 years. What's your best advice, Maureen, to really enjoy it well?
Well, the best thing to do is to wear comfortable shoes, absolutely, because you want to enjoy every part of it. And you should dress in layers, wear sunscreen, wear a hat, hydrate along the way, take rest breaks, so you can see all of it, because every bit of it is worth seeing.
And I imagine that since the Laurel Board of Trade has been putting it on for so many years, you start almost immediately after this one's over, right? Getting ready for next year?
Just about, yeah. We have meetings to follow up on issues that we need to address. One issue that we would like everyone to adhere to is please do not bring pets, especially dogs and snakes or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Just bring yourselves and come on out and enjoy.
Absolutely.
All right, well,
Come
we're
to have
looking
fun.
forward to it. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, of course, you can find all that information about the Laurel Main Street Festival on the Laurel Board of Trade's website. It's laurelboardoftrade.net. Maureen and Marvin, thank you so much for being with us. Of course, it wouldn't be a festival without lots of entertainment, right? This year, there's a first. One of the bands will be arriving on their tour bus. We'll tell you all about that in just a moment. Stay with us.
This is my Laurel.
Where the past is not only restored and preserved, it's celebrated. Community, art, culture, history, pride. Where old school class never goes out of style, ushering in the next generation of Main Street entrepreneurs.
This is my Laurel.
For all things Laurel, tune in to Laurel TV. Turn your power on.
The music you just heard is by the Leonard Skinner tribute band Down South Juking. They are one of 10 bands that will be performing at the Laurel Main Street Festival this year. Show producer Gary King of King Productions is here to tell us all about this fantastic lineup. We're going to get to that in just a moment, but first I want to talk with Laurel Board of Trade President Jim Cross about the other big headliner of the Main Street Festival this year. Every year, it's the parade, right?
Absolutely.
So how early do people need to get there and stake out a spot to really get a good spot for the parade?
Well, we start lineup at 7:30 on 6th Street. The parade goes off at 9 o'clock sharp, and it usually takes about an hour and 5 to 10 minutes for the last person in the parade, which is the Laurel City Public Works vehicle, to get past the judges' stand.
Now, this is no teeny-weeny little parade. What, you have 1,200 people involved in the parade?
Yes, last year we had around 1,200 people, something like 90 vehicles, 63 groups, different groups. It's rather large.
Now, and a treat for people who love parades is marching band. So for a while they had stopped coming, but last year Laurel High School brought their marching band back. What about this year?
Yes, this year they tell us they will be back for Laurel High School Marching Band. We also have the West Laurel Ragtag Band, which is at the end of the street. They are a fantastic group that has very interesting, they walk in a very interesting way. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Now, what about candy? Kids and parades love candy being thrown. Like, any advice about that?
Yes. The advice we have, we get asked this question a bit. We ask, it's okay to give out candy. We prefer and ask that people walk alongside and give it out to the crowds rather than throwing it. The problem when you throw it, you end up with candy all over the street, and then you have little kids running out to try to get the candy, and oh, here comes a fire truck, and that's not a good thing. So, you know, we ask them, they can hand out candy, but just walk along the crowd and give it out rather than toss it.
Now, is there any part of the parade route that's better viewing, or do you have any like inside scoop for people who are watching the program today?
No, I don't, because I've never seen the parade.
No, because you're always busy doing stuff, right?
We're lining up the parade. My wife, Laurel Cross, and I have for almost a decade, I guess, been putting the parade together. We take registration up at 6th and Montgomery Street, get everybody checked in. We'll typically send out everybody's parade number, lineup number, about a week ahead of time, or, well, Monday ahead of the parade, and instructions on how to check in. We give a map so they can tell their group where to find their parade number, so they can just go there, because obviously there's no parking on 6th Street. It's closed to that. So we try to make it as easy for people as possible. We also have a write-up from each of the people, the groups in the parade, a few short sentences about who they are, because we get that read out by at the judges' stand as they go by.
And then at noon they announce the winner of the parade, the
at
best
noon,
float and all that?
That's correct. We have five judges who will go off and work their magic after the parade's over till noon, and then at noon we hand out the trophies. People can come and pick up their trophies, and yeah, that's...
Okay, well, that's great, and we love the parade, and after the parade, you're probably going to want to run over to one of the two main stages and talk about some of the entertainment. So let's just do a little bit of, get people enticed about some of the bands that will be performing. Gary, tell me about it. We talked about Down South Jukin' coming and coming on a tour bus. That's a first for the Laurel Main Street Festival.
It is. It's very exciting, and we're lucky to have them. They're in the middle of their tour, and they were able to just fit this into their schedule and stop by, and it's literally the next best thing to seeing Leonard Skinner live. So these guys are absolutely amazing. Very excited to have them here.
How cool is that to have a tour bus pull up for the Laurel Main Street Festival?
It is very cool.
Now, that's just one of the 10 bands that'll be here. Tell me about some of the others.
Gotcha. I mean, just every band on this show is just amazing this year. Starting off, as soon as the parade ends, we have bands kicking it off, high energy, getting the crowd dancing, moving, all types of styles. In the first band, it's Area 301. It's a live hip-hop, funk, go-go band, rock, fusion, kind of just everything. Gets the crowd dancing, everybody excited. It's an awesome thing to have. Next is a band called Soul Frequency. It's a reggae rock band, real intricate things, but soulful, relaxed reggae grooves, crowd favorite. Everyone is going to really enjoy them. After that, we have Space Dust Culture. It's a far out funky jam band. So all types of styles mixed into one, and they really just can please a crowd. So after that, our newest addition, it's a one-night stand band. It's an electric mix of smooth jazz, go-go, and reggae. So just a little mix of everything. And then finishing that stage, we have CJ Oswalt from the Bats Dynamic String Band doing an acoustic set. Just nice, folky, traditional acoustic music, really good. A lot of sing-along stuff. And then on the other stage at 6th and Main Street, we're starting that off with Wanted Man. It's a DC heavy blues band. So they put a whole twist on the blues and kind of do it more modern style, like a modern Led Zeppelin sort of thing, which is very, very cool. After them, it's the Down South Juke and the Leonard Skinner Band. They're actually playing a 2-hour set,
Wow.
the longest out of everybody, and they're just bringing every single thing that Leonard Skinner has, pretty much, and getting it out there to the crowd. So that's very exciting. After that, it's Viewer Discretion Advised. It's a bunch of teenage kids, kind of like a School of Rock sort of thing, and classic rock styles. Very good, very talented, just amazing little kids. They blow me away every time I see them. And then Stars in the Sea. It's a post-punk rock band. Very good guys, like beautiful music, very elegant and gothic style, but for the whole family sort of thing. And then the last band, it's Rob Hinkle from the band Illy Amy doing another acoustic set, just grunge acoustic music. And just very intricate player, beautiful voice, just amazing music. And I'm honored to have all these bands on here, and everybody's phenomenal. And it's something for everybody, and it's going to be a really good lineup this year.
Well, you know, from that lineup, who could not find something that they are really going to enjoy at the Main Street Festival this year? This is fantastic. And of course, you can get all of that information on your website, like the times that the bands will be performing. Your website is?
gkingproductions.com.
gkingproductions.com.
The locations of the stage, a little bit about the bands, the time they're playing. So all the information.
All righty. Well, thank you, Gary, for being here. And Jim, thank you so much for being here as well.
You're most welcome.
Really appreciate it. And wow, can't wait to get a front row seat for all that great entertainment, the parade and your bands that you're bringing in.
So thank you
Appreciate
for having
you
us.
both for being here.
Thank you.
Well, as you can imagine, this is basically an all-hands-on-deck event for the Laurel Police Department and the Fire Department. We'll talk about what it takes to keep everyone safe during a huge event like this one. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Voting on the ballot scanner is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Mark your selections. A poll worker will issue you a paper ballot. Take your ballot to an available voting booth. Be sure to use the marking device supplied at the polling location. As a first step, you will need to completely fill in the oval next to your selection. Avoid making any other marks on your ballot. It is important that you mark your ballot properly to ensure that your votes are counted correctly. Make sure you mark your selection in all of the races that you intend to vote, selecting no more than the number of choices allowed. Step 2. Review your selections. Review your selections marked on the paper ballot. If you are satisfied, take your ballot to the ballot scanner. Step 3. Cast your ballot. The display screen will provide instructions on how to insert your ballot into the tray. The ballot scanner accepts ballots in any orientation. For example, you can insert the ballot upside down or backwards. A scanning ballot "Please wait" message is displayed during the scanning process. A prompt will appear if no marks are detected, or if you select more than the number of choices allowed. If you'd like to change your selections, press Return Ballot on the touchscreen and your ballot will be returned. You may need to ask a poll worker to give you a new ballot. If you prefer to cast your ballot as is, select Cast your ballot with mistakes on the touchscreen. If your ballot is filled out properly, it will automatically be accepted and the display screen will notify you once it has been cast successfully. The DS200 digital scanner is a simple-to-use yet cutting-edge solution. For more information, visit the Maryland Board of Elections website at elections.maryland.gov.
You can imagine crowd control and crowd safety are major undertakings at the Laurel Main Street Festival each year. Joining me now to talk about that are Lieutenant John Hamilton of the Laurel Police Department and City of Laurel Fire Marshal Dave Cope. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate that. So, Lieutenant Hamilton, I imagine that there will be plenty of officers on hand so the public will feel safe at the Laurel Main Street Festival?
Yes, at the police department, will be all hands on deck. We'll have all our officers out there, periodically spread out throughout the entire Main Street Festival, making sure everyone is safe.
Now, with so many roads being closed, that's probably something we should talk about for a second. All of Main Street is closed from, what, 216 down to Route 1?
Yes.
What should people know about that? Like, obviously you're not going to be able to cut across Main Street.
Yes, you won't be able to come across Main Street. You won't be able to park on Main Street. We're using an alternate route, which is Prince George Street, to use that for local traffic. 4th and 5th Streets, we open up a small section so it'll be two-way traffic to free up some of the congestion. And they can expect that Main Street will be closed from about 6 a.m. to about 6 p.m. In the early morning hours, majority of 6th Street will be closed as well due to that's the staging area for the parade, and that's where the parade starts.
Now, undoubtedly, there will be some things that might crop up. Is there a command post set up and
Yes.
evacuation plan? Tell me about that.
Yes. The command post will be posted at 5th Street and Main Street at that intersection. There, if anyone has a lost child or you need any assistance, you can always find the police there because the other police will be, like I said, will be roaming throughout Main Street. The evacuation plan, what we normally do is we hit people north and south, which means basically if you're on the Riverfront Park side of Main Street, we would like for you to go down towards Riverfront Park, the walkway there. If you're at 4th Street and below, like towards Route 1, we would like for you to walk towards Route 1. If you're at 5th Street or 5th Street to 7th Street, we prefer that you walk up towards 7th Street. Using that path, you can walk all the way up to the Laurel Municipal Pool, which would be a nice staging area. Down past Route 1 is also, you have the commuter lot, which is a staging area where you could regroup and find people that you may have gotten split up with. Also, people on the opposite side of Main Street, what they can do is like at 5th, 4th, 6th Street, we would like for you to head towards Montgomery Street because you have Laurel Elementary and you also have the Laurel Armory, which could be good staging areas for people to regroup as well.
But we should tell people that last year's was flawless. It
Yes.
was so safe and quiet, and we're hoping for a repeat this year.
Correct.
Now, we know it's festive and people are going to bring things, but Dave, tell us about what's allowed at the Main Street Festival. There's some big crowds, 80,000 people out there, but so obviously you can't bring everything.
Now, one of the things you don't want to bring is alcohol, because alcohol is prohibited during the whole event. The only animals permitted in the park during the entire event would be service animals. The police officers will stop you and ask you to leave the event if you have an animal. Plus, it's just not safe. There's so many people there, and the animal could be spooked or scared and could leave you. So we're asking you to only bring yourselves. If you want to bring a lawn chair to sit down, relax. There's a lot of events, a lot of food that's going to be happening that day, but stay away from any alcohol, any pets that aren't service-related animals. We've had times where people brought snakes in, and this is just not permissible. They will be asked to leave, and it's not that we're trying to be mean, we're just trying to make it a safe event for all the attendees.
And as much as we don't like to talk about our bathroom habits, it's a question I'm sure you get every year. Where are the porta potties?
Right, and you'll see there'll be a lot of people out there, officials out there with these that you can ask, but right now the location we've posted, the bathrooms will be located at Laurel Elementary. We'll have one handicap porta potty on site. The other locations will have one handicap bathroom and one accessible at all these. There's 6 locations going to be spread out through the Main Street event. One is beside 612 Main Street, in the rear of PNC at 517 Main Street, the rear of BB&T at 380 Main Street, the top of C Street on the even side, the Rivera Bank parking lot down on Main Street around the 300 block of Main Street. And again, each one of these would be a handicap accessible and a regular bathroom.
And once again, if you have any questions, that command post is at 5th and Main.
Correct.
Thank you both for being here. We really appreciate it.
There'll also be a table set up for the Laurel Main Street event, the ones that's actually hosting it, and I believe they're around 4th Street. So the vendors, anybody's not sure where they're supposed to be or where they do, they can touch up with the Laurel Main Street Board of Trade tables.
Okay.
And they'll tell them.
That's very good to know. Thank you both. Okay, well, we'll be back in just a moment, but we want to tell you about one item that you might want to think about that could really increase your enjoyment of the Laurel Main Street Festival. And there's a hint for you. It's right on your smartphone. We'll be right back. much to see and hear and places to shop. How will you possibly be able to do it all by 4 p.m. at the Laurel Main Street Festival? Well, the key just might be your smartphone. Joining me now to tell you a little bit about that is James Cornwell-Shield of the city's IT department. He's our webmaster.
That I am.
Webmaster James Cornwell-Shield. So tell me about the My Laurel app. This actually debuted before the Main Street Festival in 2014.
Yes, it did. It's a mobile app on the Google Play Store and the iPhone App Store, and it gives you access to a number of features in the city, both reporting issues to city departments and getting information from the city, news, and in this case, various information about the Main Street Festival.
What kinds of things will you be loading into the My Laurel app for people to use on the day of the festival?
For Main Street itself, we've got the vendor list and a map of where everything is, as well as a schedule of the music events at each stage. And so you can use it to figure out how you're going to get around and what you want to see and do.
And it's right there on your phone. That's what makes it easy. You don't have to carry around a map. You can just look at the My Laurel app and get it all.
You can just open up the My Laurel app and tap on Main Street Festival, and you'll have all of that information at your fingertips.
So how do we get the My Laurel app?
So to get the My Laurel app, you can either go to cityoflaurel.org/mylaurel, and there are links to download for both Android and iOS. Or you can go to the Google App Store or the iPhone App Store and search for My Laurel.
Now, that's just for the Main Street Festival. If you wanted to take it one step further after the festival is over, you can register on that app and get even more uses out of it?
So in order to report certain issues in the community, say potholes or suspicious activity, whatever you happen to see, you have to register so that we can contact you for follow-up. But you register with the app. You can sign up with either Facebook or just create a username and password just for the app and log in, and you've got access to that and notifications of emergency situations and all sorts of other things.
And you made a very important point. If you see something suspicious, don't necessarily think about putting it in the app first. Call the officials. Call 911 first, maybe do the app later.
For emergency situations, the best course of action is to call the police immediately. And there is a button to call the police directly in the app.
Right.
So you don't have to remember the number.
All right, the My Laurel app right there at your fingertips. James, thank you very much for being with us.
You're very welcome.
Really appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Once again, Laurel's Main Street Festival 2016 is on Saturday, May 7th. The parade starts at 9 a.m. All the festivities continue until 4 p.m. Main Street will reopen to the public at 6 p.m. For more information, visit the Laurel Board of Trade website at laurelboardoftrade.net. For Laurel TV, I'm Audrey Barnes. Thanks for watching.